In what could be considered another running theme, year of content, I have noticed an upspike in the number of material that has been directed toward um, examining aspects of my character to, I guess, disenfranchise the arguments that I've made uh, about this whole issue of people and their difficulty with getting with others. And a lot of these critiques have been levied toward um, appearance and things such as that. So what I thought was quite amusing is the fact that I can come up with several rebuttals, but I do take a genuine interest in trying to figure out why another man would be concerned with a man's appearance. Um, I took the time to go and you know read on these profiles and see who's saying what, and it seems as if whenever there's someone complaining about that aspect of my character, it's always another guy. And it was the weirdest thing to me because, I don't expect for presumed heterosexual males to find another man attractive. But what always kills me about it is that it seems people can't reasonably look into their own confirmation bias. So basically, if I were an individual who didn't talk about this topic, if I just spoke entirely about political stuff, which is my main forte, you would not see anyone um, throwing stones at the appearance of the political commentator. Nobody ever does that unless they say something about how someone else looks. Um, and in my arguments against the various people I've been in contact with in this field, to my knowledge, I've never spoken about how they looked. Um, and that's mainly because most of these people, even if I admit my bias in terms of just preferences that I have, I amended them enough, both in how they looked and in their personality, to really make it to where they have to pick whether to stay in this or not. And when they don't, I just accept it for what it is and move on to the next one. And yet, whenever you go and you talk about this subject and you really try to break it down from a logical standpoint and say, hey, look, this is problematic because they're doing this, and I don't feel I was the aggressor, and why this didn't work because I brought this to the table. I said you can get away with this, do that. Um, there's always this panel, this push to try and suggest there's something off um, as a result of this one occurrence. You know, like I said before, uh, I could never understand why we would need to find so much fault in a guy, a man, to confirm our own biases, because you have to understand that a good chunk of people who watch this feel the same way, and they don't look like me. Um, and that alone should really kill that argument. It should say, well, look, there's no one set way to look during this. You just have to, you just, that is not the problem here. And I refuse to believe that I am, too physically unattractive to do any of this. And it really saddens me because I've had people then jump to try and, pinpoint parts of my personality. And all of it just seems like it's this big effort to try and, you know, critique someone a million times and leave the other group unscathed. I mean, I'm supposed to believe that, if I had just worn a different shirt, this woman that, didn't pay me the time of day when I was in front of her, nor when I was uh, trying to text her, would have suddenly had an orgasm between the legs and want to speak to me. That is the scenario they're presenting when they make these arguments. But a lot of their opinion on appearance, at least mine's anyway, is not motivated by anything of a logical conclusion, because it's very logical to say, hey, we all look different, so this isn't the problem. And that's why we all have the same issue despite our differences. Instead, what they do is they go and they say, okay, well, that me believing that argument requires logic, and I don't have it. I just have emotions. So emotionally, I don't like how you look. So we're going to discount the fact that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I'm gonna make my opinion fact, and it's going to be the way that I, um, allow my perception to stay at. It really is a weird occurrence, and as I mentioned in the earlier stream today, I have such a lack of willingness to participate in a lot of these discussions just from a gradual disgust at the fact that you can sit here and you can try to break something down, hour after hour, day after day, week after week, and people still won't get it. I mean, some of these guys, you could sit them down for 8 or 9 hours and tell them what I just said over and over again. It would still not ring a bell. Um, and I can't think of any body type, any ethnicity, any just any distinct physical trait that I have not seen in on a man that was in a relationship. This, I'm saying that I've never gone to that when it came to um, trying to play internet psychologist. So to see people doing that to me is always kind of strange. Okay, the chat room is apparently a non-entity, so isn't that a wonderful thing? I mean, it almost is because it seems like people aren't really here to hear anything out. It's more often someone coming and just saying how wrong you are. Oh, here's the pie in the sky, do this, and things will suddenly shift over. So I'm not surprised.